Hello, apostate congregation, and welcome to another edition of the Mormon Atheist. Okay, apostates, today we are going to get heavy into the weeds. This is a through and through nerd episode, all right? Uh, this is brought about by one of the commenters. The commenters asked me this morning, actually, sent me a message asking me about the city of Enoch. Okay, the sunken city of Enoch. I don't know if anybody, I don't know how many of you have heard this story, but this is a pretty famous story. Okay, I don't know how, well, all right. So, in my mind, okay, I'm going to give you the Mormon atheist perspective here, okay, before we get started. So, in my mind, the story of Joseph knowing about Enoch, okay, there's a huge question. Did Joseph not know about Enoch? That's massive, okay? Because uh, there's all kinds of stories about how Enoch is in the Book of Mormon, not as the character Enoch, but literal passages out of the legit Book of Enoch, right? Book 1, the Watchers, okay? Okay, so there's a whole backstory to this, right? Um, so apostates, I I cannot express to you enough. In order to understand what we are even talking about, right? The very basis are the books. You have to know what the books say. Do you even know what the Book of Enoch is even about, congregation? Have you ever read it? Do you only know what you've been told and the kind of nonsense that you hear on shows like Ancient Aliens and shit like that? Why not just go to the book itself and read the book? It's a fascinating book. It is literally a fascinating book, the Book of Enoch, because it predates the Bible, even the Book of Enoch does, right? So the Book of Enoch is all throughout the Bible, right? It's all over in the Bible. The Book of Enoch is, right? Okay, and so you have to know this lineage, right? And so when you know the Book of Enoch, right? When you know the Bible, and then you read the Book of Mormon, you will see these clear phrases, complete um, verses that are lifted directly out of the Book of Enoch and are in the Book of Mormon. Like, this stuff is there. You can't argue this stuff. You cannot argue this. You can through, this is what scholarship does. They twist your brain with this stuff, right? But if you just read the book, you would know. You would definitively know. So you would know that what these people are saying to you is just straight BS, right? So you have to understand who Enoch even is in the Bible, right? So you got some homework to do, congregation, when it comes to this episode, because this is a weeds nerd episode, all right? And I'm going to lose all of you right off the bat. That's how nerdy I'm going to get with you guys today, okay? So, by the way, today is November 8th, 2025. Apostate congregation, welcome to another edition of the Mormon Atheist. Like and subscribe to the channel. We're not monetized. We will never be monetized. All of that kind of fun stuff. Uh, so let's get into it. Let's get into the city of Enoch. Okay. There is a whole lot more to this story than you realize. So today we are going to trace the story of the city of Enoch, congregation, not just as a biblical or a spiritual idea, but as a radical communal experiment in early Latter-day Saint thought. Do you understand what that means? We're talking communism here, okay? So we'll see just how Joseph Smith drew inspiration from the book of Moses, attempted to implement the idea through revelations in the Doctrine and Covenants, and how the story evolved into oral traditions. Okay, we're going to get heavy tonight, apostates. Buckle up. Put your splash bags on. We're getting ready to go. Okay, we're going to go. Grandma, put down your chicken. Listen up. Okay, so even giving rise to the legends of a city in the Gulf of Mexico / America. We're talking 1800s, so we are going to refer to it as the Gulf of Mexico because that's what it says in the books in the 1800s. It does not say the Gulf of America in an 1870 book. Okay, so all of you PC folks out there, forgive me if I do not refer to this as the Gulf of America because back then it was not called the Gulf of America. Okay, so our journey has three main steps, right? One is the theological foundation, right? Which is the book of Moses. Okay. So one thing I do want to say before we get going here, to the viewers that are not Mormons, okay, this episode 100% pertains to Mormonism. Okay, so when you hear me talking about Enoch in this context, all of you are going to freak out and you're going to be like, what in the F is this guy talking about? So I want to save you the headache, okay? And just know that I do know the book of Enoch. I've read it several times. I know what it says. I know how it goes to the Bible. I know all that kind of stuff. So please save your comments. I believe me, I know this stuff, okay? I'm talking about Mormonism right now. So it literally has nothing to do with anything that has to do with the legit book of Enoch, the Bible. It's a totally separate, we're talking about Mormonism, not Enoch, not the legit book of Enoch, okay? That has nothing at all to do with the conversation that we're having today. So please save your comments. Yes, I do know that that is not what the book of Enoch really says. I do know that, I know, okay, I know. So we're talking to Mormons here. Mormons do not know this stuff. We're trying to get them to understand their own religion first, and then we'll worry about all that other stuff, okay? That's a whole nother can of worms, man. Okay, so congregation, I'm sorry, but I have to do that because these are two extremely very different subjects. Okay, the Enoch in Mormonism has absolutely nothing at all to do with the Enoch, legitimate Enoch. Okay, it's totally based on that, but that's why I say to you, read the books and understand, apostates. Okay, you got to know what the book of Enoch is even saying, right? So, all right. Anyways, let's get back to Mormonism. Our journey has three main steps: the theological foundation, which is the book of Moses; the practical implementation, which is the Doctrine and Covenants; and the oral legends and traditions. Woodruff and Young, okay, Brigham Young and Wilford Woodruff. Okay, congregation, so let's get into it. And throughout, we'll focus on the communal and egalitarian, okay, that's a fancy word for communistic, okay, egalitarian nature of Enoch City. Essentially, it's a religious organization essentially, it's religiously organized, communistic order, the Order of Enoch. Okay. All right. So let's get into the Book of Moses. Okay. So the Book of Moses is the theological foundation for this for the city of Enoch, but it's never called the city of Enoch. Okay. So now there's a complete scholarship, all this behind why. Okay. But here's where I tell you, you have to read the books and you will completely, fully understand. Okay. So the book of Moses was written in 1830, 1831 as a translation and expansion of Genesis. Okay. We all know this. Here, okay, so the book of Enoch is, I'm sorry, the book of Moses is all about building up to the city of Enoch. Okay, so the whole book of Moses is literally about the city of Enoch if you read it in context. Okay, and we're going to get into that. So apostate congregation, bust out your Book of Mormon, or I'm sorry, your Doctrine and Covenants, or I'm sorry, your Pearl of Great Price. Book of Mormon, mine is all three in one, so that's why I'm all jacked up like that. But so anyways, let's keep going here. Moses. We are going to go to Moses 7, okay? Moses 7, let's hit Moses 7. We are in the book of Moses, okay, in your local Pearl of Great Price. Okay, I got mine right here. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, 18 through 19. Let's read, congregation. And the Lord called his people Zion, because they were of one heart and one mind, and dwelt in the righteousness, and there was no poor among them. And Enoch continued his preaching in righteousness unto the people of God. And it came to pass in the days that they built a city that was called the city of the holiness, even Zion. Let me read that again so you understand. And the Lord called his people Zion, because they were of one heart and of one mind, and dwelt in the righteousness, and there was no poor among them. We're talking communistic order here. And Enoch continued his preaching and righteousness unto the people of God. And it came to pass in his days that he built a city that was called the city of holiness, even Zion. That passage right there is where we get the idea of the city of Enoch. Enoch builds a city. So naturally it's called the city of Enoch, right? That's where that comes from. Okay. City of holiness. All this stuff goes together, apostates. Think of the parchment, the layman, right? Joseph Smith's layman. Holiness to the Lord, right? Holiness to the Lord. Well, if you think this, right, if you read the book of Moses, you see the cool thing with Mormonism and Joseph Smith is he tells on himself. He tells on himself all the time. You just have to pay attention. It's all over. And he literally says it's a fraud in this book. I do a video. I forget. It's one of my very first video, but it's called, I think I do a short. I think it's a short. So this would have been like 2 years ago or something. What's it called? Joseph Smith Confesses or something like that. Joseph Smith Confesses It's All Made Up or something like that. That's the name of it. I think it is a short. Because I know that's not the name of any of my videos. So, and I don't do shorts, so it's way old. It was when I the very first month I even had my channel is when I made those, right? So he tells on himself a lot. All right. So there's where you get the idea of the city of Enoch, right? It's in the book of Moses. if you read it, it's the theology of the city, right? The entire book of Moses is about the city of Enoch. It's the buildup, like we'll get into it. Let's go. We'll get into it. Notice the emphasis, okay? No poverty, right? There was no poor among them, okay? No poverty. There's unity, right? There's equality, okay? Equality is such a dangerous word. When they start spouting equality, you know they're going towards communism. That is a communistic dead giveaway. Equality. That is a hidden, I mean, it's all over in the Book of Mormon. And they are literally talking about a communistic order, the Order of Enoch. Okay, so let's keep going. And you can look up the Order of Enoch in the Encyclopedia Britannica. We're going old school on that one because that is literally the only place that I could find the Order of Enoch was in the Encyclopedia Britannica Apostate Congregation. I couldn't even find it online. It's not even online. It's in the freaking Encyclopedia Britannica. Everything online was from Fair Mormon and all this kind of stuff, and we don't use those sources. So notice the emphasis: no poverty, unity, equality. Every member's needs were met. Okay, in modern terms, this is called religious communism. Religious communism. Okay. Grounded in covenantal obedience rather than the secular ideology. Okay, congregation, let's go to Moses 7:21. And it came to pass that the Lord showed unto Enoch all the inhabitants of the earth, and he beheld, and lo, Zion in process of time. What was Enoch's city called? City of holiness, even Zion. That's the city that Enoch built. Okay. Where is Zion's today? Utah. Where's Zion? Okay. In process of time was taken up into heaven. Let me read that again to you. And it came to pass that the Lord showed unto Enoch all the inhabitants of the earth, and he beheld, and lo, Zion, in process of time, was taken up into heaven. Remember that, congregation. Zion, in process, in time, was taken up into heaven, was taken up. Zion was taken up into heaven. The entire city was taken up into heaven. That's important because we're going to get into the legend part of that later. Okay. Okay, so let's keep going. And the Lord said unto Enoch, behold, mine abode forever. Okay, right? So, I mean, he's saying like, you need to give me my house. Where's my house? Forever, right? Let's go to 22. And Enoch also beheld the residue of the people, which were the sons of Adam. And they were a mixture of all the seed of Adam, save it was the seed of Cain. No seed of Cain, you ain't getting in there, bro. For the seed of Cain were black and had not place among them. Seed of Cain, you can't sit at my table. I'm a Mormon. Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's so absurd, right? Okay, so let's keep going. That's got nothing to do. I just wanted to, that was a funny that I thought. It's not a funny, actually, but just to show you that this racist motif is all over Mormonism. It's not just in blacks aren't allowed to hold the priesthood. It literally says it right there in the book of Moses. The seed of Cain? What? The seed of Cain is black. There's not a place among us. That's 722, by the way, if you're just curious. You know. Okay, and after that, Zion was taken up into heaven. Enoch beheld, and lo, all the nations of the earth were before him. Now, if you know what the literal book of Enoch is, the Watchers, right? He gets turned into Metatron, all this kind of stuff, and they actually take him up and they show him all around, and it's and it's a whole thing. So he's playing off of the book of Enoch. So apostate congregation, I asked you already in our presentation, does Joseph Smith know about the book of Enoch? Apostate congregation, Google the book of Enoch, the Watchers, book 1, and find out when it was published in the United States. And then tell me if Joseph does not know about Enoch. How is Enoch? You telling me this dude is prophetic? This guy is not prophetic. He's a freaking meatball. Okay. And according to Mormonism, I mean, have you ever seen any old Hugh Nibley video? How he just completely demolishes any possibility of the book of Enoch. Joseph Smith has to be, there's no way he could have known of Enoch. I mean, apostate congregation, are you going to let these people talk to you like that? Because I'm not going to let them talk to me like that. It's literally all over in Mormonism. It's in the book of Moses in 1830. He wrote this. He translated this in 1830, 1831. And he's telling you, like literally the story of Enoch is all throughout this. That's in the legit book of Enoch, right? But oh, he doesn't know anything about the book of Enoch. Oh no. I mean, congregation, in this day, this is 2025. Okay. Are we going to think with an 1840 brain and say, oh, Mormonism is so, there's no way Joseph Smith knew about Enoch? Come on, congregation. Dunk, do you remember the old, I should have had a V8? Oh, I should have had a V8. I mean, congregation, come on. All right, let's go. The cities translation, right? Not the translation like word translate. It translated, right? Okay. The city's translation underscores the divine approval of the communal living and inequality. Okay. You got to read the book of Moses to understand what I'm even talking about right now. If you don't know what the book of Moses even says, I can see it on my screen. You guys click on, immediately click off because you have no idea what I'm talking about. Why? Because you've never read the book of Moses. Come on, congregation. Who reads the Bible the most? Who criticizes the Bible the most? Atheists do. There's no Christian that reads the Bible. No Jew. They don't read the Bible front to back, cover to cover. Atheists do, though. You can watch podcast after podcast after podcast. I don't know, I personally do not know any Christian or anybody of any religion that knows the Bible better than an atheist or a mythicist or a skeptic or whatever the case may be, right? Congregation, read the book. Know the book. This is our book. Okay, we grew up with this. I grew up with this book. I had to read this effing book to go on a mission thing to Mexico when I was like 10. Okay, I had to read the Book of Mormon and the Bible. There's my Bible. Congregation, I personally do not believe in religion whatsoever in any shape or form, but I am absolutely fascinated by it. I am so fascinated how people can believe in this shit. And all you have to do is read the books. You don't have to talk to nobody. You don't have to talk about it with anybody. Just read the book and it will answer all of your questions. Okay, so this becomes the blueprint for the later institutional attempts by Joseph Smith and his followers. Okay, so we're going in steps here. We got the Book of Moses. Okay, that's the theology. Okay, now we're going to get into the practical implications of the communal efforts, right? Okay, now later on in years, this becomes Brigham Young. It changes, and it's just called the Order. Okay, and in LDS history, if you look it up, it says that Joseph Smith never created an Order of Enoch because it doesn't fit the narrative congregation. He's not supposed to know about Enoch. So he never creates an Order of Enoch, but you can go to the Encyclopedia Britannica and it will tell you all about the Order of Enoch. Okay, and how it's a communistic order and Joseph Smith created it. Like the whole story's there. Okay. Okay, so then, so now we're getting into the implements, right? Which is the Doctrine and Covenants. Okay, so apostates, we are going to take heaven right now and put it on earth, okay? Because that's what Mormonism is. God came to heaven and he walked the earth. He had seed with the light and delightsome women, right? Okay. The whole theological idea of Mormonism is to bring heaven to earth. Okay. And here we're going to show you that, a piece of that. Okay. Okay. So from theology, we move to the practice. Okay. Joseph Smith and the early saints attempted to implement Enoch's model. You have to read the book of Moses to know what Enoch's model even is, congregation. Okay. To implement Enoch's model on earth. Okay. That is the whole point of the book of Moses, is to implement Enoch's model on earth. Okay. And if you don't even got to take my word for it, all I ask you is to read it. Just read it. That's legitimately what it's about. So if you just read it, okay. Okay, so heaven on earth, right? You got to read the book of Moses. Okay, so apostates, I am going to throw you for a loop right now. I told you we're going to get nerdy. This is a nerd episode. I'm drinking my electrolyte water today. This is a nerd episode. So, congregation, Doctrine and Covenants 42. What do you all know that as? Come on, come on, congregation. It's the laws of consecration. Okay. What are we consecrating, though? Let's get into it. Doctrine and Covenants 42. This is February 1831. I'm showing you a timeline here. The Book of Moses, 1830, 1831. Doctrine and Covenants 42, 1831, February, Kirtland, Ohio. Okay. All property consecrated, stewardship assigned according to needs. Okay. And the quote is, here it is. Behold, behold, there are many things to be done. But for the present, there is one thing required: to consecrate all their properties to the church. The whole thing is about communism. It's a communistic order. You're consecrating all their properties to the church. What do you call that, congregation? Communism. Okay, we're getting it. We're getting it. Congregation, it's literally in Doctrine and Covenants 42. You can read it for yourself. Let's keep going. June and July 1831, Doctrine and Covenants 52 and 57. Mission work in Zion Center in Missouri. Congregation, what is Zion? What is Zion? Okay, we got to go back to Moses 7:19. And Enoch continued his preaching and righteousness unto the people of God. And it came to pass in his days that he built a city that was called the city of holiness, even Zion. Doctrine and Covenants 52, 57 are all about mission work and Zion Center in Missouri. Okay. Doctrine and Covenants 78, March 1832. Okay, let's go to, now I got to look it up. Doctrine and Covenants 78. Oh, I passed it. Isn't that a funny sound? You can hear that? You know exactly what that sound is, right? That's such a distinct sound. Okay, Doctrine and Covenants 78. Let's go. Okay, here we go. Section 78, right there. Let's go to number 3. Okay, so congregation. All right, let's go to number 3. 78, number 3. For verily I say unto you, the time has come and is now at hand, and behold, and lo, it must needs be that there be an organization of my people in regulating and establishing the affairs of the storehouse for the poor of my people, both in this place and in the land of Zion. Okay, the land of Zion. What is the city of Enoch? What is Enoch city called? The city of holiness and Zion. Okay, we need to establish a storehouse. Now we think of this as the Deseret Industries, the DI. Okay, but if you're thinking about this from the order's perspective, right? Because the order is the one doing this. So the storehouse for the poor is a communistic order. The intent of that, it has evolved, and that's not what it is anymore. But I mean, you can still go there. They give you food and stuff, and you can go, you can go to the storehouse. You can go to the DI. They'll give you vouchers, all this kind of stuff, right? But if you're not a Mormon, good luck in getting any of that stuff, right? So like, it really is for the people of Zion, right? And they're very much talking about Enoch. Mormons are the people of Enoch, man. If you go by the book of Moses and Joseph Smith, Mormons are the people of Enoch, right? Fascinating, right? You got to get rid of all this scholarship BS. These guys are just twisting our brains so bad. But if you just read the books, congregation, it's all here. It's all here. You just got to read it. Okay. So early non-LDS scholars viewed this as a earthly manifestation. Let's read this again, right? Because remember, they're bringing heaven to earth. That's the whole story of in the book of Moses. That's what they're doing, is they're bringing heaven to earth, right? And so, yeah, it's the manifestation of Moses 7, right? City of Enoch, the city of Zion, city of holiness. I like to say holiness to the Lord. If you know anything about the parchment papers, you'll get that. Holiness, the city of the holiness to the Lord. All right, enforcing equality. Once again, we got equality and shared property. Okay, this whole thing is about shared property, sharing all of your stuff. If you go into 78:5, that you may be equal in the bonds of heavenly things, right? Yea, and earthly things also, for obtaining of heavenly things, right? This whole thing is about communism. It's a communistic order. And if you understand that and know that, it puts a completely different light on these doctrine and covenants and the laws of consecration. We all think these laws of consecration, like, what does it mean? Well, hello, tink, tink, tink. We know what it means. Read the book. There's no secret. You're supposed to give all your stuff to the church. What's the secret in that? What's the problem with that? If you're a devout member, you should be okay with that. It's, after all, it's canonized. This is canon. I mean, are you living by the word? Have you given all your stuff to the church? Not 10%, all of it, everything. Think of the 1870s and the storehouse. Think of all of these stories, right, that we read in all these old books, congregation. How many books have we read that when people the people from England have already sold all of their stuff and sent all the money to Utah, right? How many of these stories have we read, congregation? So this is very much a real thing. This is a real thing. If you think in the 1830s when this was implemented, the 1840s, 1850s, 1860s, all throughout the 1870s, it really ramps up in the 1870s. And we're going to get into why that is in a minute, right? Okay. So this communistic value lifestyle, in today's modern world, all of you are like, no way, that's not what that says. That's not it. Literally, legit is what it says. Put into context all of these old books we read, congregation. The whole point of this channel is to read those books. So when we understand what those books are saying to us, and then we read something like this, it's like butter in our hands. We get it. We understand it. We know it. I told you there's a code. There's a code. And once you crack that code, I put this together in, I came home from work. What time is it? I got home from work. A commenter said something this morning. I've been thinking about it all day, thinking about all these old books. I get home from work and I throw some shit together. And now I'm here talking to you about it. That's how easy this becomes. Once, I told you on my last video, the answer to the riddle is you got to admit it to yourself. So now what's the question, apostate congregation? Let's keep going. We got too much to go. Even though, okay, they're enforcing equality, right, and shared property, even though our books do not use the exact term, the Order of Enoch, the City of Enoch, it actually does use the Order of Enoch. That is a legit term that is legitimately used, okay? But the City of Enoch is never used. It's referred to from the book of Moses, like I just read earlier, right? Okay, so in Moses 7, right? So the idea of a divinely organized communal order is clearly present, okay? It's clearly present. So we're not done, congregation. Let's go to Doctrine and Covenants 82. 82. Well, actually, let's not. So 82 and 104, okay, 82 and 104 is in 1833 and 1834, okay? Both of those are about the United Firm, okay, which is another name for the order, right? It's also called the United Firm, okay? Shared property and centralized stewardship, okay? This is all communistic, communal living, hippie type stuff, right? Okay, they're like a bunch of hippies, but they're religious hippies. Okay. Um, so let's see. Again, we go back to Doctrine and Covenants 82 again in 17. Let's just read it. Let's go to 82. 82:17. Here, let's go to 14. 82:14. Section 82, for Zion must increase in beauty and in holiness. Ladies, this is a commandment here. For Zion must increase in beauty. Section 82, verse 14. And in holiness. Her borders must be enlarged. Her stakes must be strengthened. Yea, I verily say unto you, Zion must arise and put on her beautiful garments. That is the only time you will ever hear me talk about garments on this channel. It's all in the books, congregation. I can't express that enough to you, right? The absurdity lies in the books. Joseph tells on himself all the time. Okay, I forgot. What were we doing? We're doing 17. See, I get sidetracked. My there's so much cool, like just oddball stuff in these things that you just, it's like boo, boo, boo. Oh, the shiny thing. Ooh, the shiny thing. All right, 17. And you are to be equal, or in other words, you are to have equal claims on the properties for the benefit of managing the concerns of your stewardships. Every man according to his wants and his needs, inasmuch as his wants are just, and all this for the benefit of the church. I told you, he tells on himself. Go to tomorrow. Today's Saturday, apostate congregation. Tomorrow, when your family is going to church, ask him. Ask your parents, ask your grandma, ask your aunts and uncles, whatever, brothers, sisters. Hey man, did you give away all your possessions for the benefit of the church? Because it literally says it in Doctrine and Covenants 82, verse 17, 16, 14 through, let's just say section 82 as a whole. Section 82 as a whole. Because you're not living the word if you didn't. Okay? You're some crappy Mormons if you ain't living section 82. Got to tell you. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. This was actually a really fun episode for me to put together because I really like the Book of Enoch. That's one of my favorite books, is the Book of Enoch. And yeah, there's so much to that book. And if you see, anyways, another shiny thing. Okay. Joseph's early community was both spiritual and social, an experiment in egalitarianism, communal living, right? Modeled on Enoch's Zion in Moses 7 and 6, 7, and 8. Specifically 7. 6, so it's kind of a buildup. It builds up, and then 6, it like whams you, right? And then 8, it tells you about how everybody like, that wasn't righteous died. Okay. Okay. So now we get into part 3. Okay, so let's keep it into perspective. We had the theology, which is the book of Moses, for implementing. This is the theological idea for the communistic order of Enoch, the Order of Enoch, Joseph Smith's Order of Enoch. Okay, then we go to the Doctrine and Covenants. These are the implementations of the communal living, the communistic living, right, of the Order of Enoch, right? Now we're going to get into the later traditions, okay, and how this story becomes what me and you know it today, okay? And I think you're going to be surprised because I've got a little something, something for you that I know none of you, I legitimately know none of you have ever heard. I couldn't find this in any scholarship. I could not find this. I could not find this anywhere. And the Mormon Atheist is bringing it to you, congregation, because we have so many firsts on this channel. It's sick. It's sick. Part 3, the oral tradition. After Joseph died, the communal idea continues. Okay? It continues to inspire, but stories and legends evolve. Okay? Some of you might already know what I'm talking about. Enter Wilfred Woodruff. Wilfred Woodruff is the primary source of this story, okay, that I'm going to get into right now. Okay. March 30th, 1873. These are out of the Woodruff Wilson Journal. Signature Books, the 1993 edition, page 83. Joseph also said that when the city of Enoch fled, this is Woodruff's own words in his journal. This is legitimately where the city of Enoch comes from, is this right here. This. This is not an anti-Mormon. This is not a critic. This is Wilfred Woodruff, congregation. Do you understand me? Okay. Joseph also said that when the city of Enoch fled, it was translated. It was where the Gulf of Mexico now is. The marble in the tin can. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. It left that gulf a body of water. Apostate congregation, did you know, historically speaking, a Mormon apologetic would say, the Gulf of Mexico was actually an entire city, but the Lord took it up. It was translated. The Gulf of Mexico. Just think, the Gulf of Mexico. I want you to picture this, like, and they're like all the roots are all coming down, and the city's going up, and now there's an empty body of water there that's called the Gulf of Mexico. Congregation, this is Wilfred Woodruff. But there's the rest of the story, though. Wilford Woodruff says, never says that Brigham Young told him or anything of the sort, right? There is a story out there, and this is actually legit scholarship that says Brigham told, Woodruff says, Brigham told me, or whatever, something like that, right? But that's not in there. That is literally what it says right there, right? The city of Enoch fled and was translated. It was where the Gulf of Mexico now is. It left that gulf a body of water. That's in Wilford Woodruff's March 30th, 1873 journal. So, congregation, is he lying? Well, let's go to scripture. Let's see what our boy Joseph has to say about the Gulf of Mexico. Okay. Hey, here's the fast mill. Remember we were talking about Coswell on the last video, the Greek Psalter? There's one of them right there. So my edition is the 1984 book. I keep the 1984 edition. Okay. I want to go back now. Let's go back to Moses again. Bust out your BOMs, congregation. We're going to go to the book of Moses, 14. Oh, I'm sorry. Chapter 7, 14. This was written December 1830. Okay, look, it says it right here. Here's my BOM. December 1830, right there. Okay. Chapter 7. Okay, now, remember, Wilford Woodruff says, Joseph also said that when the city of Enoch fled, it was translated, it was where the Gulf of Mexico now is. It left that gulf a body of water. Let's go to Moses, chapter 7, 14. There also came up a land out of the depth of the sea. And so great was the fear of the enemies of the people of God that they fled and stood afar off and went upon the land which came up out of the depth of the sea. No scholar will tell you that right there. Nowhere in scholarship could I find that. Do you see what happens when you read? I'm not a scholar. I'm just a guy. And I'm rolling these scholars up. Up. Little tight. Oh, it's too tight. Let's loosen it a little bit. Okay, up. Lick it. We're going to smoke them bastards right now in every single one of my episodes. That's what we did to all these scholars. Okay? And it's not even very good. You know what I'm saying? It's not even good. You remember that early 90s, late 80s haystack? Or how about that gasoline? Okay, let's keep going, congregation. So is he lying? Is he lying? Joseph also said that when the city of Enoch fled, it was translated. It was where the Gulf of Mexico now is. It left that gulf a body of water. Moses chapter 7, 14. There also came up a land out of the depth of the sea, and so great was the fear of the enemies of the people of God that they fled and stood afar off and went upon the land which came up out of the depths of the sea. 15. And the giants of the land also stood afar off And there went forth a curse upon all the people that fought against God. I wonder if that was the black Canaan seed. Maybe. I don't know. All right. So according to scholars, uh, what Woodruff is saying has no part of any kind of anything, right? It's not scripture. It's just literal oral history. That's all. But congregation, we proved them wrong once again. Puff, puff, pass. Okay? I'm telling you, we're smoking these guys. We are smoking these guys on this channel. So Enoch City is linked to a geographical location, the Gulf of Mexico. The city is taken up, leaving the body of water. Okay? It maintains the communal city idea, right? I mean, this is literally out of 14, but we're talking about Woodruff Wilson right now, but we are also describing the book of Moses, chapter 7, verse 14. Do you understand me? But according to scholars, this is not true. This is not even true. What Woodruff Wilson is saying is completely bogus. Well, here it is in your own book. So scholars are saying Doctrine and Covenants, the book of Moses, is false. That's LDS scholarship saying their own book is false. You can't make this stuff up, congregation. Just Google this stuff, man. Like it literally says that. Google it. Google it. So let's step back. Okay, let's look at the book of Moses, right? What is the book of Moses? It's the theological blueprint, okay, of the communistic order, the Order of Enoch, okay? Equality, unity, divine approval. This is all communism, communistic type stuff, right? That's in the Order of Enoch, okay? Then we go to the Doctrine and Covenants, right? Earthly implementations, right? What is the book of Moses even about? Bringing heaven to earth. That's not my take. That's the book. Just read the book. That's literally what it says. You don't have to make anything up. This stuff is so fantastic on its own. I don't got to make shit up. The truth is way better than this. Why would I make it up? It's far more better and fascinating if you just read the shit. Read it. Okay. So the storehouses, the stewardship, the united firm, which is what the Order of Enoch later becomes, and then Brigham turns it into the United Order. And the reason why is because Joseph Smith is not supposed to know about Enoch. Flat out, that's it. Do you understand what's happening here, congregation? Okay. Do you understand the level of BSery that Mormonism and scholars, Mormon scholars and LDS historians are telling you? Okay. You can dissect this stuff. You just have to look. Okay. So oral tradition, or is it? Is it oral tradition? Or is it scriptural? Because scholarship says it's oral. The Mormon Atheist says it's scriptural because it literally effing says it right there. It says it right there. Okay? So I'll leave it up to you, congregation. Let's move on. In every stage, the communal egalitarianism nature is central. The saints aimed to live like Enoch's people, right? the book of Moses. Okay. No poverty. All hearts are united. All property is shared under divine authority. What do you call that, congregation? Religious communism. This shows a pattern how religious texts inspired communal experiments. Okay. How communities attempt to implement ideas and how mythic narratives evolve from these ideas, congregation. Okay, so in conclusion, like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This channel will never be monetized. We are not monetized, so the only way you can help and support this channel is to subscribe, like, share, tell your friends. Most importantly, I'm more interested that you watch the videos and just simply read the books. Tell your friends about the books. That's what I'm interested in. I could care less if you subscribe to my channel. I would like it because it helps the algorithms to get out there and more people can see this. But what I want you to do, congregation, is simply just tell your friend about the book. Watch my videos. Every video is a different book. All of them are in the 1800s. All of them. Okay. That's what I'm more interested in, is just simply reading these books about Mormonism and finding out the real history, the true history, because it's not what we're told in Sunday school, kiddies. Okay. So in conclusion, the city of Enoch and the Order of Enoch represent more than scripture and legend. Okay. They are a vision of religious communism, a social experiment rooted in theology extended into real world organization. Okay, that's so important. And memorialized in legends and oral history. Rather, one views Enoch City as spiritual, organizational, or mythical. Understanding this lineage, okay, from Moses 7, Doctrine and Covenants 78, to the Gulf of Mexico. You can't make this shit up, man. Okay. This allows us to see the continuity of the communal idea, congregation. Okay. Okay, everybody. That is it. We're done. I hope. I want to thank the commenter. The commenter is the one that got me going on this. So thank you for the idea. Please comment. I know a lot of you are reading these books that we talk about, and comment. Tell me where you're at. What do you like? What books are you reading? Where are you at in the book? I converse a lot with a lot of you guys. We talk a lot about a lot of different books, and some of you guys turn me on to books. I turn you guys on to books. Like the commenter, told me about this. So it's a community channel, man. So like and subscribe, share, tell your friends, watch the videos all the way through. We will never be monetized. We're not monetized, so because we would get canceled immediately. So because the stuff we talk about, we destroy scholarship on this channel. So if you enjoy destroying LDS scholarship, this is the channel for you. Okay. All right, congregation. Remember, in the words of the late, great Solomon Southwick, the ashes of Morgan will rise. And here we are, congregation. Here we are. We are bridging these gaps. Okay. So thank you. And I will see you all on the other side.